Ladies and gentlemen, we are finally back with bag surgery, and today we have the Cornhole Solutions Character 77 with the Bourbon's Boards limited edition design. This is number 1 of 25. Number 1, folks. These were sent to us by Victor himself, the man with the mouse and the Adobe Illustrator monthly subscription plan. Yes, these are the Character 77s. Let's get a little closer up on here. The Character. Gotta have character. 77. It's around here somewhere. Well, it says Character, but it doesn't say 77 on the front. But it does say 77 on the back. Cornhole Solutions. Upside down speed 6. Upside down 77. Limited edition. Upside down. Just the way I like it. And what are we looking at here? This design itself is a splash of bourbon. It's ice cubes going into booze. Cool. Fierce things off the bat. The fierce thing I want to talk about is the thickness of the bag and how there just isn't that much thickness to it. Yes, folks, they are wildly thin. I'm already touching the table. That's thin. And I would venture to say these are thinner than an inch. We will measure that, of course, using our eyes and our rulers. We got a closing stitch here. They have an automated machine that does this, which is pretty sweet. It's a huge stitch. It's a big one, folks. It's a big one. This is a nice, I think it's like a 7-speed. They're calling it a 6-speed. It could be with this kind of lack of volume, yeah, it's probably a 6. More surface area touching the board slows it down. They're calling it 8. Yeah, at a minimum, it's an 8, at a minimum. As far as the filling itself, I know it's a single pellet fill, only because these guys, Cornhole Solutions, they are right across the street from one of the biggest manufacturers of pellets and the pellets that we use in these bags. It's not a cornhole pellet factory, it's a pellet factory that we use for cornhole bags, and they're widespread. But this is a single pellet fill, 100%. Pretty good sized template. I think that's why they're so floppy, because this is a very small fill. Across the width, we're looking at 5 and 7/8. Now the way we're going to be getting thickness from now on is I'm going to take my old template here, smash the ever-living daylights out of it, make it nice and level. Looks level. We're going to measure both sides. I think I cut myself. Let's see here with the ruler coming in at 3 15/16. And on this side, we'll do centimeters, because that's what's on this side of the ruler. 10.3 centimeters. So just under 4 inches, which means less than an inch per bag. Yikes, I told you they're thin. Oh, but what do they weigh, you ask? I shall tell. 1 pound on the dot. Very nice. These are hand filled, so they should all be exactly the same. 1 pound. 1 pound. And by hand filled, I mean a cup and a funnel. 1 pound. Now all 4 should weigh 4 pounds on the dizzy. Come on, give me a little bit less. 4.01, that's like 2 pellets. So good job on the filling, very consistent. Initial close-up here of the seams. These are done on an automated machine, computerized sewing. So when we open it up, we're not going to be seeing any sort of line where they stitched. A little bit shorter stitch length, I think. Hard to tell, we'll measure it when we get inside. One of the most popular fabrics in cornhole, rave. Sublimated very well, I might add. Sublimated very well. Nice press. Not seeing any fading, and these bags have been thoroughly broken in with whatever method. This is the 2021 to 2022 ACL Pro. I believe this year they did not go with the ACL. Good for them, in my opinion. I like this fabric a lot. It's got some neat characteristics. It's just super floppy. Sublimate's great if you know how to work a press, and they clearly do. All right, initial rundown of the Character 77 Bourbon Boards Edition, limited edition, 1 of 25. Very thin, very thin. People like that. I don't, but people do. It's within size. It's so thin that it might not be thick enough to pass the dreaded ACL random inspection or requested inspection, as we all saw a couple days ago. Closing stitch is big, and there is quite the gap between the thread and the edge. About a quarter, well, that's not inches, that's centimeters. 2/8, quarter inch. We're gonna get inside these bad boys. I'm gonna get my little, oh yeah, we're back with the new thread ripper. Well, there we go. The pellets themselves, and let me tell you, these are super soft because they are nice and broken in. That's right, folks, not just the fabric gets broken in, the pellets do too. Now, you can cheat your way through breaking in the fabric all you want. That's not going to make your pellets nice and smooth and shiny by playing the game. Well, it's not the most exciting pellet reveal of all time. So let's just get right in there and take a close-up look right now. That's right, we still got the tools to get right up in there. Single pellet, nicely broken in. I'm gonna grab some more of my own, which are the same. We'll put them right on top. You tell me what you think. All right, here they come now. It's from a different lot, of course, and so you'll see the little color variation. Those original ones are brighter white. These are kind of an off-white. But I just made them more than a pound. Sorry, guys. But yeah, just about exactly the same. Of course, theirs are worn in a little more. Very nice. Taking a look at this stitching nice and close. It's got a little bit of a wild thread here. So, starting here, going out really far, yeah, very odd. Automated machine. Okay, there is a back tack here. Another back tack here. That's in the corner. That is weird. It's either the start or the finish. Looks like nylon thread. How many millimeters is that stitch length? You tell. Let's go to the millimeter part. That's half a millimeter you're looking at. Each stitch is 2.2-ish, 2.1 millimeters. Huh. I find it very weird. We'll take a look at this in the broader view that it's coming around. It's going back and it's stopping. It's starting again. And, I mean, it's not like they ran out of bobbin thread. There's thread on both sides. It just stopped. And I don't want to take apart another to see if the others are like that. And then this excruciatingly long, I can't call it a back tack because it only goes over itself like 2 or 3 times. And it doesn't go back again. On the good news, you see here, this is the edge of the closing stitch, and it is well within, or well outside. The edge of the bag is well within the edge of the closing stitch, all the way across. Ain't no pellets getting out of that. Fabric looks good. It's the backside of the slower material. Same dealio, nothing too remarkable. Except this, and I just don't understand what happened here. Some kind of thing with the machine. These are cut with hands, probably a scissor. This long, even longer back tack here. This is the back side. And again here. Strange. All right, let's get some measurements on this template. I think I want to do it on this side. It's a little bit brighter white. Edge to edge, 6 3/8. And the opening, 2 1/2. Closing stitch is 3 1/4. Zoop, zoop. Cut the tips off. Helps those corners not get so bulky, but I mean right here, you really didn't cut off that much. So yeah, let's just cut the hand. That's a big, we can cut that off too. In fact, I think I will. I'll put these where they probably could be. That's a little bit tighter. Now, let me make this straight. There. Now you don't have to do this with every bag. This is something you would do when cutting the squares initially. You'd make them the size you want. Maybe they needed it a little bit bigger to fit inside their clamping system, even though there's a giant piece that comes down right in the middle. Yeah, who knows? Everybody's got their thing. But it's nice to trim it down because it won't bunch as much, especially in the corners. You know, these corners are, like the bag is super floppy, but the corner, not so much. It's got a lot of fabric sitting in there. When those are hanging over the hole, those corners are what's holding you up. So as soon as the corner falls, you see the rest of the bag fall. Let's put it back together. Flipping this bag should be super easy. I mean, not just because it's already broken in, but even if these are brand new fabrics, just pressed, this one's super soft to begin with, and this is very pliable. So that was like flipping air. That felt good. We're gonna fill it back up. Well, there you have it. The Cornhole Solutions Character 77. Got it all closed up. I put the B3 closing stitch on there. A little tighter, a little closer to the edge. The only downside is with that extra space, this bag just got a lot more floppy, a lot more emptier filling. So what's my overall take on these? Well, I pretty much said it all at the beginning. Just not enough fill. There's just not enough there. Makes them slower on the boards. Maybe that's what you, I mean, some people really like having a loose, not so full bag, but these might not be full enough to pass a test. I mean, we did the stack. It was less than 4 inches, which means each bag is less than 1 inch on average. Probably like 0.95 inches. But they did weigh a pound. And that's thanks to the hand filling. Even filling. You're not gonna be like, oh, this one feels a little heavier, this one feels a little lighter. Not with these bags, this is done by hand. The sewing and the stitching, that's all done by machines. Not like hand operated machines. I'm talking about put it in, push a button, does the sewing type machine. And they're very open about this. They're not trying to hide it. They got videos on their Instagram that shows their bag making process, which is great. I like what Cornhole Solutions does. I mean, they help out the person at home building stuff. Like, these aren't outrageously priced. Anybody can get them. He let Victor do this, you know, custom series. They don't have to do that. They got designers of their own. But this is just a great thing. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to do some budget bags, I'd call them budget bags. These are good choices, especially if you like those loose, floppy fills. The bags, personally, I'm going to give them 1 thumb up. But Cornhole Solutions themselves, 2 thumbs way up.